bringing the doctor. Oh.
The patient.
Right, let's... These burns are pretty severe. We'll have to remove skin from elsewhere before we...
All right. You'll have to inject it into the right side of his body, where the skin isn't burned. The culture is taking effect. Please use the scalpel to remove a section of the... You have to inject the culture fluid into a part that hasn't been burned. Once we're ready, let's...
The most severe will...
Are you please inject it directly into the blackened tissue. The affected area is bleeding heavily. Hurry up and drain it. Now, please try to place the donor skin before the wound hemorrhages again. The coolant seems to be working. Now, use the scalpel to excise the You can place the excised tissue on the tray. The area's been debrided, so you can proceed to drain the blood. It looks like this area is going to need more than one piece of tissue. We've covered the... We're done with this area. Let's go on to another burn. The coolant won't be effective unless you inject it directly into the blackened area. Vitals have dropped? We're halfway through. Keep it up. Drain the blood first. Then, prepare another piece of tissue for grafting.
Almost done.
There's not much time. We have to hurry.
We completed the treatment. Great work, team.
The professor's office is nothing but ashes. Fortunately, no one seems to have been inside. But the professor's whereabouts are unknown, and we have reason to believe the data was stolen. According to what Russo said, the professor seems to have been kidnapped. What did the detectives ask you?
Same things they asked you. What did I see when I arrived at the scene? Did I notice anything suspicious? You know, the usual. Oh, they also asked about the professor's condition. I didn't say anything about stigma. They wouldn't understand anyway.
I can't believe he was kidnapped. What's their motive? They obviously want more than just a ransom.
What's gonna happen to this hospital? What about us? The media's gonna be all over this incident. We won't have time to examine our patients.
Dr. Blaylock, Dr. Vaughn, there's someone here to see you.
If it's another investigator, then forget it.
Actually, it's the director of Caduceus.
What?
Long time no see. Regarding what happened the other day, you have my sympathy.
Thanks.
How can we help you?
It's a little complicated, so I'll get right to the point. After seeing the two of you in action, I negotiated with the hospital to have you both transferred to our staff.
You're recruiting us?
That was the plan, but circumstances have changed.
So what does that mean?
Dr. Vaughn, Dr. Blaylock, by the authority of the federal government, I hereby order your immediate transfer to Caduceus.
The authority of the federal government?
The decision was made based on the research we believe Professor Wilkins was. As skilled doctors and colleagues of the professor, we require your expertise in the U.S. branch of Caduceus. We'll do our best to accommodate any staff member requests you may have.
I can't believe it. We're going to Caduceus.
Maryland, on the Atlantic coast of the United States of America. In a location close to the nation's capital lies the U.S. branch of Caduceus, the international organization that treats and researches new diseases. Caduceus USA, falls under the jurisdiction of Health and Human Services. Yet they have their own authority to execute private missions. They are dedicated to the treatment of intractable diseases and the prevention of infectious illnesses.
Marcus Vaughn, age 34, surgeon, place of birth, California. Valerie Blaylock, age 28, surgeon, place of birth, North Carolina. Elena Salazar, age 20, nurse, place of birth, California. You three will be assigned to the newly created Special Disease Counteraction Team. Now, sign here, and on the written oath and the waiver form. Why the sour face, Dr. Vaughn?
You're forming a new team? What, is this an anti-stigma measure?
You mean, is it a result of Professor Wilkins' procedure? Well, we've had this planned for a long time, though the discovery of stigma did hasten its establishment. At least things will be easier on you, since it's such a small team.
Thanks for your concern. But if we'll be dealing with mainly new diseases, then we'll be performing fewer operations. I hope that won't affect my salary.
Leave it to you to think of that, Marcus.
No need to worry. We'll be referring plenty of patients to you. Special cases which may require the healing touch.
Well, that's good to hear.
Your job description won't change much either, Elena. Your priority will be to assist Dr. Vaughn and Dr. Blaylock with the operations assigned to them.
Thank you very much. I'll do my best, just as I did at Concordia.
Then, the first thing I'd like you to do is become familiar with Caduceus, and provide us with whatever information you have on...
Regarding that matter, we've only encountered stigma in one operation. There's really not much for us to disclose, especially since Professor Wilkins kept a tight lid on all the data.
That's all right. Just tell us whatever you know. You may be surprised at how much you recall. Extraordinary events leave deep imprints on our memory.
I hope we'll be able to live up to your high expectations. I was wondering, are we going to be questioned about the disappearance of the professor?
That won't be necessary. This is a hospital, not a police department.
Well, we don't know where the professor was taken. They haven't even demanded a ransom.
Bien, et toi donc?
I still feel uneasy about all this, but we'll do what we can.
Okay, let me show you around. I hope we can cover everything before my guest arrives. Now, this is your office.
Wow. Look at this equipment. I knew Caduceus would be amazing, but this is...
Your responsibilities won't be much different than they were in the past. Even though you're now members of Caduceus, you're still first and foremost doctors. We dedicate ourselves to research here, but at the same time, we see regular patients. A major part of your duties will be to keep your skills sharp.
Well, it can't be any worse than Concordia. I mean, we weren't exactly welcome there.
Now, let's take a look at where you'll be performing your surgeries. There are a total of 10 ORs, each one equipped for a different type of procedure. Oh, Dr. Everett.
Director, do you know where Dr. Tsuji is?
This is Dr. Everett, our chief surgeon.
He looks like he's in pain. Is something wrong?
I've got cholelithiasis. I was going to ask Dr. Tsuji to remove the gallstones. I can't take this anymore. Director, can you fragment them for me, please?
I wish I could, but I'm expecting a visitor shortly.
But I can't stand the pain any longer. Are these the new doctors you were talking about?
Yes, they are.
I don't care who does it. I just need help.
Ah, tu ne connais pas? Ouais, il est assez peu connu.
I can walk you through the procedure if necessary. I'll even suture myself when it's over.
I know this is sudden, but would you mind?
Not at all. Dr. Everett, I'm...
Skip the formalities. Just prep for surgery. Ah!
Let me explain the chart. Dr. Everett has cholelithiasis and has been experiencing pain for 3 years.
3 years?
Yes, I've told him repeatedly to admit himself to the ward and have it treated. However, it seems he's far more interested in taking care of patients than himself.
Typical doctor, neglecting his own needs.
I guess that just goes to show how passionate Dr. Everett is about his job.
When you put it that way. Oh, excuse me, please continue.
We'll use a laser to fragment the gallstone in this operation. Please extract the gallbladder as well during the procedure.
So we'll be taking care of the cause of his pain as well.
Well, I must be going. I'll leave the rest to you three.
Okay, let's get started.
We will now begin the operation. Please disinfect the incision area and open him up. First, we'll be fragmenting the gallstones passing through the ductal epithelium. If a gallstone passes completely through the epithelium, the patient's vitals will... Let's begin by using the ultrasound to locate the gallstones. There's a gallstone. Use the laser to break it up. The patient's vitals have dropped. Please don't forget to treat the gallstones before they pass. You need to pay attention to the gallstones while you're working on the gallbladder. The gallstone has been fragmented. Let's begin extracting the gallbladder as well. First, inject the sedative into the gallbladder.
We can't remove it all at once. Let's cut it into multiple segments before we take it out.
And don't forget to use the laser on the gallstones while doing so. All right then. Please, the cut has caused hemorrhaging. Drain the blood before continuing with the treatment. The blood has been drained. Let's start cutting off the second segment has been cut off. Don't forget to keep fragmenting the gallstones. Now, please continue cutting the next segment. The third segment has been cut off. One more to go. Remove the last segment before it hemorrhages again.
The gallbladder has been excised.
Please extract the gallbladder and place it on the tray. Gallbladder extraction complete. Please treat the hemorrhaging area with antibiotic gel and suture the epithelium closed. The gallstones have been eliminated and the gallbladder has been extracted. Please close him up. Operation complete. Good job.
We just arrived, and we're already performing emergency surgeries. I can't wait to see what's next. But I guess it was a good chance to get our feet wet.
You always see the positive, Val.
Oh, you're leaving? I was glad to hear the operation went well. Of course, I'd expect nothing less.
We always do our best.
I hear that often, but for some reason, this time I believe it. Tomorrow, we'll meet to discuss stigma. I'm counting on you.
Like she said, we always do our best.
Wow, you assisted in an operation on your first day here? You must be good.
No, it's the doctors who are good. I'm just fortunate to be working with them.
Sounds like you work well with them. In my case, it depends on who I'm assisting. I get along with Dr. Everett, but Dr. Tsuji, on the other hand... Oh, forget I said anything.
By the way, Ms. Newman, about the operating room's support system.
Oh, call me Leslie. Everyone else does. Now, it's our responsibility as nurses to manage the support system. It'll probably take some time, but once you get used to it, you'll be able to update an E-chart in a snap. Want to give it a try in a vacant OR?
I'd love to.
Regarding this new disease, which has tentatively been named stigma, we received a report from the National Security Council and have begun an independent investigation. Its threat level is unknown, but I can say that the pathogen possesses astonishing mobility. It was unclear whether it even existed until now, but the Wilkins case put an end to the debate.
And we are basing that assumption on the testimony of our two new doctors, yes? Oh, pardon me. I'm Kanae Tsuji, a surgeon here. It's nice to meet you both.
You're absolutely correct, Kanae. While the information provided by Dr. Vaughn and Dr. Blaylock is highly reliable, our own investigation at Concordia also validates the theory. And it's worth noting, Professor Wilkins was conducting all the research on his own, without help from other doctors.
We spent less than a month there following our transfer from Alaska. But during that time, the professor seemed somewhat paranoid about an information leak.
To be honest, I'm surprised there was a leak, no matter how small.
The NSC never tells us their source of information. I bet the military is involved in it somehow.
Let's try to make do with the information we have at hand. At this point, the research can no longer be left exclusively to Wilkins. It's now the concern of our entire organization.
What?
Prior to your transfer here, we received reports of suspicious cases from various... We've already discussed those cases in a previous meeting. The pathogens in question were confused with various parasites, so nothing was conclusive. If any new cases occur, they should now be reported to Caduceus International.
It's unfortunate, though, that Professor Wilkins' data was destroyed. And by an unidentified assailant at that. Am I the only one here who feels uneasy about this?
We're hoping that the professor's still alive.
From now on, if any new cases of stigma arise here, the patients will be transferred to this facility whenever possible. Both Health and Human Services and the National Security Council have agreed to this. The operating surgeons will be Dr. Vaughn and Dr. Blaylock. Their prior experience dealing with stigma will be invaluable. I personally stand behind them, 100%. The rest of you will be invited to witness their expertise.
I look forward to seeing the infamous healing touch.
That was a little unexpected. What have we gotten ourselves into, Marcus? Were you as shocked as I was by what they already knew?
Not really. A doctor considers any and all possibilities.
Well, I, for one, am surprised. I had no idea there was data on stigma, other than what the professor had...
Well, we've got more important things to worry about. We're leaving for the tech department tomorrow morning at 8, right?
Yes, so don't be late.
All right, then I'm gonna go home and get some sleep.
Doctor, we just received an emergency request for help.
What happened?
There was a big accident on the freeway. More than 30 people are in serious condition. The request came from the state hospital.
Now I feel right at home.
Elena, can you let them know that we'll accept the patients?
No eye response, incoherent speech, decerebrate posture, E1, V3, M2. He's under 8 on the Glasgow Coma Scale. He's in critical condition. The patient has taken considerable damage to the right half of his body, and his lungs may be at risk.
He's definitely in bad shape.
The exact locations of his injuries are difficult to determine right now. His vitals aren't stable either. Please hurry, but be careful.
There's no time to lose. Let's begin immediately.
Okay, let's get started.
Beginning the operation. The patient's condition has worsened since his arrival. Please operate quickly. Begin by treating the external wounds.
The external wounds have been treated, but I assume that it can only be worse on the inside. Let's open him up and begin treating his internal organs.
I'm confirming interior wounds and the presence of foreign debris. Let's keep an eye on his vitals and treat everything we can. This wound can't be sutured like this.
You'll need to use the forceps to hold it closed temporarily. Hold one side of the... Please suture it quickly, or the wound will open again. That's the worst of the wounds. Please begin treating the others.
That should do it for this area. Now to move on to the others.
Use the magnification tool to change where we're looking. There should be other injuries nearby.
Drain the pools of blood. A hemorrhage has formed. Use the antibiotic gel to treat it. Vitals are stabilizing. The patient should be all right for now. All right, let's close him up. Operation complete. Excellent work. That was the last of the patients. The three of you can wrap things up now. All right. Thanks, Leslie. That was very impressive. If you don't mind, I'd like to assist you again sometime.
It's 3 a.m. Man, talk about a long day.
Well, this is what you wanted, right? To continue seeing patients.
Yeah, I guess that's the life of a doctor, no matter where you are. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, don't worry. If we can survive in Alaska, we can survive anywhere.
So, I have a new job for you. But first, Let me introduce you to our head of research.
Hello, my name is Dr. Robert Cromwell. Dr. Blaylock and Dr. Vaughn, I presume. It's nice to meet you. You must be busy adapting to Caduceus, as well as the newly established team. But the director recommended you two, so I would appreciate your assistance.
It's nice to meet you too. It would be our pleasure to help.
Good. I'd like you to participate in clinical testing under the supervision of the research lab.
Let me remind you that it is the duty of those in the medical field to also research and pioneer new treatments. Doctors and researchers must work together to fight diseases both present and future. That's the purpose of There may be some interesting characters here, but they're all excellent doctors. I consider myself very fortunate to be able to conduct medical research among them. And on top of that, we now have the assistance of two truly gifted doctors with the healing touch. I firmly believe that with your precision, the data we'll be able to collect will be invaluable. That is why I'm so enthusiastic about your surgical skills. You don't have any objection?
I appreciate your vote of confidence, even if it is a bit exaggerated.
He's a dedicated professional, although he tends to be long-winded.
Now then, there's an operation I'd like the two of you to perform. The research you're contributing to will give new hope to heart disease patients everywhere. I'll explain as I show you my lab. It's true that many people frown upon our astronomical research budget. Mostly journalists and politicians who are trying to make a name for themselves. You know how difficult it is to produce significant results when conducting revolutionary research. But thankfully, we also have generous supporters.
Oh, Dr. Cromwell, you have friends with you today. Would you introduce me?
Isabella, you really should start acting more professionally. This is Ms. Vasquez. She's a representative of the Humani Corporation.
I'm Dr. Blaylock.
Dr. Vaughn.
Nice to meet you, handsome.
We're partnered with a number of large pharmaceutical companies and medical manufacturers, including Humani, who've been a tremendous help to us.
I hope my looks don't give you the wrong impression about our company. Humani is a major player in this industry, and I've been known to play hardball when needed.
Humani holds several lucrative pharmaceutical patents and leads the way in regenerative medicine.
Well, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know.
We have a research specialist from Humani on staff as well. She's a very talented young woman and has produced great results. I believe she's nearby. Cynthia, can you spare a moment?
I'll go get her, Dr. Cromwell.
Thank you. I'd appreciate it. The operation that you'll be performing would not be possible without her help.
Yes, Dr. Cromwell? Oh, that's right. You said you'd introduce me to the doctors today.
This is Cynthia Kozakov. She's a beautiful woman, as you can see, and quite brilliant.
Cynthia Kazakov? You wouldn't happen to be from Trinity Medical School, would you?
Valerie? Valerie Blaylock?
Yeah, it's me.
You became a doctor! Congratulations!
Thanks. Wow, I never expected to see you here.
You're going to be helping us? This is great!
I'm Marcus Vaughn. Sorry to interrupt such a touching reunion.
Nice to meet you, Doctor.
So, you two are old friends. I have a feeling this will be a fruitful partnership. Now, Cynthia, can you explain to them about the cardiac patch?
Allow me to explain the details of the operation, as well as the usage of the myocardium patch. Our patient is a 10-year-old girl with an occlusion in her heart. Her heart functions are deteriorating. If this continues, she'll have a myocardial infarction.
That's where the myocardial patch comes in.
I don't know much about it. It's a form of synthetic membrane, correct?
Yes, it's a new type of synthetic membrane that uses the whole cell voltage clamp. The membrane itself is elastic and helps the heart move and function.
That's amazing! It truly is a miracle of science.
It's only as incredible as the skills of the people using it.
Nothing like a little pressure. I don't mind, though. That motivates me.
We'll do our best, of course. I can promise you that.
I'm glad to hear it.
So, we'll be applying this myocardial patch by positioning it according to the guide. Is that this operation's objective?
Yes, that's correct. This operation will be performed without stopping her heart, but I have faith in Caduceus, and in all of you.
Let's start.
Let's begin the operation. We'll be operating on the heart. Please open her up. Let's confirm the procedure of this operation. 3 areas of occlusion have been located on the heart. Follow the guide and keep the placement and angle in mind when if the myocardium patch isn't placed correctly, the patient may undergo cardiac arrest. Start by applying antibiotic gel to the occlusion areas. The first myocardium patch will be applied here. Carefully match the location and angle of the patch with a pattern on the heart. The myocardium patch has been successfully applied to the occlusion area. Her heart rate is increasing. There's a possibility that the already weakened areas of the myocardium may hemorrhage. If you find a hemorrhage, treat it with the antibiotic gel before its condition worsens. Here's the next occlusion area. Let's continue. What? The guide moved? Does this mean that we'll have to time the placement now that the heart is beating faster? Apply the patch when the size of the guide matches the size of the patch. Doctor, the patient's undergoing cardiac arrest. Use the defibrillator to resuscitate her. We have a pulse. Please watch the guide and place it when the sizes match. The second occlusion area has been treated. Her heart rate is increasing. Be careful when placing the patch. Watch your timing. The myocardium patches have been placed, but there are still wounds that need attention. Let's treat them all. The patches have begun synchronizing with the myocardium's movement, and her heart rate is returning to normal. She should be all right now. Let's... Please close her up. We're finished. Good work, everyone.
That was a flawless operation. Simply perfect. The patch is sure to integrate with the existing tissue. The patient should recover nicely.
I think we'll see excellent results, Valerie.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing more operations like this one.
Well, we wouldn't want to take up all of your time. The director has already spoken to us regarding the research on stick. We're currently in the planning stages. In time, we'll show you what we're capable of. Right, Cynthia?
Yes, Dr. Cromwell.
The NIH has received a request for help from a hospital in Texas. They're having difficulty with the diagnosis. Based on the patient's chart, there's a good chance that it's stigma.
So this is what we're dealing with, hmm?
These two pictures were taken only a few hours apart. Look how far the focus has shifted. And its size has increased drastically.
A biopsy was attempted, but they were unable to obtain a sample of the pathogen. The patient will arrive in roughly 3 hours. Vaughn and Blaylock will be performing the surgery.
We'll check the patient's condition upon her arrival and then proceed with the operation.
We're treading on unknown territory, so we'd appreciate your support, Dr. Tsuji.
I highly doubt that you two will need my help, but I'll get ready nonetheless.
patient's vitals are stable. Blood pressure 110/60, heart rate 60 beats per minute.
Any case history?
She was involved in an accident 2 months ago. Laceration on the right thigh. Looks like they used artificial blood for transfusion. Qu'il blood from Syntec Labs, to be exact.
Are there any contraindications?
None that I'm aware of. But can you check with them just in case?
Will do.
The affected area is the liver. The course of treatment will be determined during the procedure. However, I have a feeling this will be different than the professor's case.
Even so, I'm sure our experience with stigma will prove invaluable. Let's stay
According to the test results, this stigma is completely different from the one we saw before. There are some similarities, though, such as high mobility.
It tries every conceivable method to make its victims suffer. It's like a nightmare.
If it is stigma, then there must be a core somewhere, even if it looks different. If we can find and attack it, we may be able to identify the key to stopping it.
A core. Now that you mention it, there was something in the report about that.
That's right. We saw something like a core when we were operating on Professor Wilkins.
I'm surprised you remember, Marcus.
Call it a hunch.
A hunch? Well, at least we have some hope of defeating it now.
I'll be praying that I don't have to get involved.
It's haunting me. Wherever I go.
Dr. Vaughn?
It's nothing. Let's end this nightmare. Okay, let's...
The exact nature of this stigma and the types of damage it is capable of are still... Stigma confirmed. It's much larger than before.
That must be its core there in the center. The plan is to use the laser to incinerate it, but...
We can't do anything to it since the core has enveloped itself within the surrounding cellular tissue. The tissue itself looks highly viscous. Let's try draining it.
Good job. The amount of cellular tissue around the core has decreased.
Okay, then let's continue this and drag the core out. Is this a tumor? Let's burn it with a laser.
The core's been exposed. Use the laser to incinerate it. It's working! The core's being covered by the tissue again. Please drain it. There is still tissue left inside the patient. Please drain it.
The remaining tissue is hardened? Does it dry out over time?
We can't use the drain on the hardened tissue. Use the laser to soften it up.
Vitals are dropping. Is the tumor hardening?
Let's extract it with the power procedure. First, use the drain on the hardened tumor.
Vitals are dropping?
Use the drain on the hardened tumor, then excise it with a scalpel.
Vitals are dropping?
Don't forget to treat the remaining tissue. It's having a critical effect on the patient's vitals.
That's it. Leave the rest to...
Without the...
The exact nature of this...
That must...
We can't do any... The tissue itself looks highly viscous. Let's try...
Good job.
Okay, then let's continue this and drag the core out.
The core's been exposed. Use the laser. It's working! The core is being covered by the tissue.
Is this a tumor? Let's burn it with the laser.
Vitals are dropping. There is still tissue left inside the patient.
Let's extract it with the Powell procedure. First, use the drain on the hardened tumor.
The remaining tissue is hardened?
Now we can use the scalpel to detach it. The tissue has been detached. The tissue has been extracted. It's dangerous to leave the pieces of cellular tissue alone.
Vitals are dropping?
The draining is complete. Use the scalpel to excise it.
That's it.
For the without they.
The exact nature of the stick.
That must be...
We can't... The tissue itself looks highly viscous. Let's try...
Good job. The...
Okay, then let's continue this and drag the core out.
The core's been exposed. Use the laser to... It's working! The core's being covered...
Is this a tumor? Let's burn it with the laser.
Vitals are dropping. There is still tissue left inside the patient.
Let's extract it with the Powell procedure. First, use the drain on the hardened tumor.
The remaining tissue is hardened? Does it dry out over time?
We can't use the drain on the hardened tissue. Use the laser to soften it up.
The draining is complete. Use the scalpel to excise. The tumor has been excised. Please extract it.
Vitals are dropping?
Good job, Doctor. Don't ignore the other tumors, though.
Vitals are dropping?
Use the drain on the hardened tumor, then excise it with the scalpel.
That's it. Leave the rest to us.
For Dr. Vaughn at the without they.
The exact name.
That must...
We can't... Tissue itself looks highly...
Good job.
Okay, then let's continue this and drag the core out.
The core's been exposed. Use the laser to incinerate it. It's working! The core's being covered by the tissue.
Is this a tumor? Let's burn it with the laser.
There is still tissue left inside the patient. Please drain it. Vitals are dropping. Is the tumor hardening?
Let's extract it with the Powell procedure. First, use the drain on the hardened...
The draining is complete. Use the scalpel to... The tumor has been excised. Please extract it. Good job, Doctor. Don't ignore the other tumors, though.
Vitals are dropping? The remaining tissue is hardened? Does it dry out over time?
We can't use the drain on the hardened...
Use the drain on the hardened tumor, then excise it with the scalpel. Just a little more.
Did it split up?
For look without the...
The exact nature... Stigma confirmed.
That must be its core.
We can't do anything to it since the tissue itself looks high...
Good job. The
Okay, then let's continue this and drag the core out.
The core's been exposed. Use the laser to... It's working! The core's being covered by the tissue again. Please drain it.
Is this a tumor? Let's burn it with the laser.
There is still tissue left inside the patient. Please drain it. Just a little more.
The remaining... Did it split up?
We can't use the drain on the hardened... The core has to be in one of them. Use the drain to find it.
Vitals are dropping. Is the tumor hardening?
Let's extract it with the Powell procedure. First, use the drain on the hardened tumor.
The draining is complete. Use the scalpel to excise. The tumor has been excised. Please extract. Good job, Doctor. Don't ignore the other tumors, though.
Vitals are dropping? Dropping?
Tissue has been created. Drain it immediately. Use the drain on the hardened tumor. then excise it with the scalpel.
Vitals are dropping?
That's it. Leave the rest to us.
But look without the...
The exact... Stigma confirmed.
That must...
We can't do anything to the tissue itself. Looks...
Good job.
Okay, then let's continue this and drag the core out.
The core's been exposed. Use the laser. It's working. The core's being covered by the tissue again. Please drain...
Is this a tumor? Let's burn it with the laser.
There is still tissue left inside the patient. Please drain it.
Vitals are dropping. Is the tumor hardening?
The draining is complete. Use the scalpel. The tumor has been excised. Good job, Doctor. Don't ignore the other tumors, though. Just a little more. Did it split up?
The core has to be in one of them. Use the drain to find it.
More of the tissue has been created. Drain it immediately.
Dropping?
No prep. Use the drain on the hardened tumor, then excise it with the scalpel.
There's not much time.
That was an amazing operation. Let's close her up and be finished.
to deal with it. Somehow.
Ouais, je suis tout seul, t'as vu, hein? Ah ouais, il y en a partout, hein. C'est pas grave. C'est la vie.
I hope this is the last time we have to perform an operation in the dark.
We're finished. Great work, everyone.
Stigma's mobility far exceeded our expectations.
You all did a great job treating it. I'm glad you're with us.
Would you expect any less from Caduceus' own special disease counteraction team?
We'll hold a conference on this case of stigma within the next few days. Of course, I'll need you to speak regarding today's operation and the patient's progress. Your report will also be forwarded to Health and Human Services, so please get started immediately.
Just give me a strong cup of Joe, and I'll crank it out.
Good. You know, there was no way we could have anticipated Stigma's metamorphosis. I was amazed at how well you adapted. I know you have the healing touch, but
I guess I'm just lucky. The results from the liver exam indicate that the patient has been making satisfactory progress. She seems to be recovering well, but it's unclear how this disease was transmitted in the first place. We should continue monitoring her for at least another month.
I see. Well, I think it's safe to say that the treatment was successful. How about the pathogen itself? What have we learned? And please, keep it brief, Robert.
My pleasure. Although our analysis is only partial. First, the biopsy. Stigma did not match any known organism, meaning it's a new species, so we'll have to come up with a name for it. So how about it, Dr. Everett? You'll be a grandfather one of these days.
Well, my son's only 12. All he thinks about is football.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll ask someone else. Now, regarding the spectral analysis, our attempts to determine its structure resulted in failure.
What? How is that possible? I've never heard of that happening before.
We tried a different machine, but the outcome was the same. We screened for nucleic acid, proteins, glucose, lipids, and ATP. Stigma consists of an organic compound that is completely foreign to us.
What? This will change the way we think about life itself.
Whoever is credited with its discovery will surely make history. From a medical perspective, it's fortunate that Stigma's infectivity is weak. We're trying to culture it, but so far there's no sign of growth or multiplication. It's going to be difficult to determine the means of infection as well.
This is more serious than we thought.
Oh, il va peut-être passer. Il va, il vient, Yann. T'en fais pas, patiente. Il va être là.
Madam Director, we have an emergency.
Leslie, we're in the middle of an important conference.
Deputy Secretary Marshall has collapsed. He may have intraaxial hemorrhaging.
George Marshall, from the Department of Homeland Security?
All right, let's adjourn the conference. Leslie, I want you to prep operating room 3 for him. Vaughn, Blaylock, you two will be performing the procedure.
You want us to operate on a high-ranking government official?
I'll explain the details before the operation, so please go make the necessary preparations.
It's been 35 minutes since he collapsed. He's a 9 on the coma scale with mild tachypnea.
We're waiting on the CAT scan results, but it's most likely a case of subarachnoid hemorrhage.
This is his chart from his previous admittance. We performed deep brain stimulation to treat his dystonia.
And he was able to recover from that. Looks like the system's produced by Columba and Cornix, the same company that made Elena's pump.
Yes, it's now a subsidiary of Humani. If you have any questions about it, you can ask Isabella.
Director, what's this shadow here on the X-ray?
Oh, that. It's a hippocampus chip. We implanted it at his request.
He didn't want to forget anything, so he opted to have his memory augmented. Huh. I assume they're keeping it quiet. Do we need to worry about being in violation of state law?
We don't have time to discuss that. Now, the hematoma is far enough away from the electrodes, but take care when using the thrombolytic.
Okay, we'll head over to the OR then.
These are the results from the CT. Please take a look. A number of aneurysms have been detected. Some of the blood vessels have already burst and are hemorrhaging heavily inside the brain. First, we must clear the excess blood from the area. Then we need to treat the aneurysms. Remember, this is brain surgery. Please be extra careful when performing this operation.
Even a tiny mistake could debilitate his brain. We better be careful.
This will require extreme delicacy and dexterity. We need to do our best.
All right, let's begin. Since we're operating on the brain, even the smallest mistake can be fatal. We'll have to be extremely careful.
That bulge on the vein is the brain aneurysm. Let's remove it before it bursts.
I'm getting the sedative ready. Please inject it directly into the bulge in the vein. Let's detach it with the scalpel while the sedative is still working. The aneurysm has been detached. The aneurysm has been removed. Please hold the vein with a forceps and connect it before it hemorrhages again. Once you pick up the vein with the forceps, pull it straight toward the other end of the vein. It's hemorrhaging. The blood needs to be drained. The vein has been reconnected. Please suture the vein together. We are done treating this brain aneurysm.
The test said there were multiple aneurysms, though.
There's a chance that any of these vessels will turn into aneurysms. Have the magnification tool ready. Let's shift our viewpoint when necessary and treat the aneurysms when they appear.
There it is. Let's treat it before it bursts.
There's more where we're not looking. Once we treat the ones in sight, we have to quickly change our focus.
An aneurysm has burst. Quickly, drain the blood and reconnect the vein. Doctor, this is brain surgery. You must be more careful. Doctor, please inject it into the bulging vein. The sedative's effect has worn off. Please inject it again. situation's calmed down for now, but his vitals aren't stabilizing. Let's wait a moment and see what happens.
Doctor, please hurry! If all of these burst at once...
An aneurysm
Vitals
seems
are
to
dropping?
have burst outside of our current view. Use the magnification tool to find it.
There's not much time.
Hurry!
Vitals are dropping?
His vitals are stabilizing. It looks like it's finally over.
Ah, 16 secondes près. Ah, c'est vieux comme film, Alibaba. Ok, ça marche, David. Bon film.
We're done here. Excellent work.
Columba and Cornix's brain electrodes and pump units may seem cutting edge, but it won't be long before they're made available to the general public. Just like the pacemaker. Why do I have this nagging feeling? Everyone who's contracted stigma has had some kind of artificial agent in their body. Even that one patient who was transferred here had Syntex Q heme blood. I was using artificial blood with my test mouse, too. I wonder if there's a connection.
Dr. Vaughn, can I trouble you for a moment?
Of course.
I wanted to check on the Deputy Secretary's condition.
I doubt I can tell you more than you already know, ma'am. Since he was brought here promptly, cerebral ischemia was kept to a minimum. And there are no signs of severe paralysis, so we shouldn't have to worry about any after effect. We can't use the MRI, so we'll take another CAT scan tomorrow. Will you be advising on his rehab, ma'am?
Yes, I will. I also need to administer a personality test. Because of his implant, he must be closely monitored. It's sad, really. He's such a talented man.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the guy. But I'd like to leave him in the hands of the others so I can concentrate on stigma.
Agreed. And Dr. Vaughn, it's a shame that you feel the need to keep secrets from us. But I'm hoping that will change.
What makes you say that?
Your cutaneous muscles seem a little more... I'm out of practice when it comes to reading faces. Was my assessment accurate? You're a critical part of the Caduceus team. I hope you're not thinking of leaving.
Of course not.
You there! Do you work here?
Who? Me? Well, yes.
Could you please take a look at my son? He's been complaining of terrible stomach pain.
You brought him here? We don't accept emergencies or walk-ins.
I heard this hospital is famous, and it's so big. There must be someone who can help.
Well, there's no point arguing about it. I'll take a look at him. What's your son's name?
Oliver. Oliver McHale.
You wouldn't believe the patient I'm dealing with. He's throwing a fit because his operation isn't expensive enough.
Are you serious?
Yeah, his friend just had a hernia operation that cost $40,000, and he doesn't want to be outdone. He's 11 years old and filling the role of a trust fund brat perfectly. I guess it wasn't enough for him that his father pulled some strings to get him into this place. He's the son of some big shot, and neither of his parents have the time to bring him here.
So how much are we charging him?
About $30,000. The operation will be performed in a deluxe suite. Not bad for a case of appendicitis, huh?
Appendicitis? What a coincidence. I'm seeing a boy with the same condition.
Excuse me, Dr. Blaylock?
Yes, Elena?
I have a message from accounting. They say to transport your new patient somewhere else. It seems the family can't afford the treatment. Since Caduceus isn't normally open to the public, they don't know how to deal with situations like this.
How much is it going to cost?
Well, the family doesn't have health insurance, so at least $10,000.
But transporting him now will put his life at risk.
Unfortunately, money talks, even when it comes to healthcare.
What do you think? Should I have him transferred?
That's a tough decision. Marcus, have you given your patient his bill yet?
No, why?
Do you mind if I handle it? Chandler, Mr. Forbes, about your hospital bill. The total will be $30,000.
I told you, that's not enough. I can't lose to someone like Jimmy. His dad's just the president of some little company. I want a premium upgrade. Bring in like 10 doctors.
I'm afraid we can't do that. But there might be something else we can do. If you'd like to make a donation, we can increase your bill. How does $10,000 sound?
That's it? Well, how much would the total be?
That would bring it up to $40,000.
But that's the same as Jimmy's. That's still not high enough. I'm way richer than he is.
Well, we could add 2,000 more and make it 42,000.
42,000. Well, I guess that's okay. My daddy gives me whatever Oh, ow! My tummy hurts. Hurry up and fix it.
We have the best room reserved for you, so let's get started.
Well then, the donation will be transferred from the hospital to the Oliver McHale Fund. Elena, prep for surgery. We've got 2 appendixes to remove.
Pretty sneaky, Val. To be honest, I'm impressed.
It still counts as a donation, so it's not gonna cause us any problems, right?
It'll be fine. It's in both their best interests anyway, so it all works out.
Well, let's begin the conference. The first patient, Chandler, has acute appendicitis. It appears to be in its early stages, so the operation should be fairly routine. However, the second patient, Oliver, seems to have the same condition, but in an advanced state. It looks like he's been trying to hide his symptoms.
But he's only a child.
We understand the situation. This is going to be 2 operations back to back, so let's be quick. We're going to save them both, of course.
This boy's condition is relatively mild, isn't it?
It's still too late to treat it with antibiotics. It would be best to perform an appendectomy.
All right. Please begin the procedure. Please prepare to extract the appendix. First, inject the sedative. Next, we'll be cutting into the mesoappendix. Use the scalpel to make an incision. Next, we'll tie 2 wires around the appendix. However, they must be tied in the appropriate places.
One goes around the base of the organ, and the up look at where the wire needs to be. Then slide it down while pressing the A button.
The appendix has been tied. Now for the base.
Now that both parts of the appendix have been tied, make an incision between the 2 wires and remove the appendix from the cecum. Now that the appendix has been severed, please place it on the tray. The appendix has been successfully removed. Now, affix the membrane. Looks like our first operation was a success. Let's close him up.
That went smoothly.
Let's move on to our next.
Doctor, we have a problem. Oliver's condition has worsened.
What?
What's his condition?
He complained of severe pain and then went into shock.
Don't tell me. His appendix is burst.
We'll find out when we open him up. We have to hurry and get in there.
The pus is causing inflammation.
It's peritonitis.
Treat the inflammation and drain the pus. The appendix needs to be removed as well. Begin with the sedative.
This is bad. The appendix is festering. Please hurry up and extract the appendix. It's secreting pus. The appendix has been extracted, so we affixed the synthetic membrane. The synthetic membrane has been affixed. Let's treat the remaining wounds. The appendectomy is complete and the peritonitis has been treated. Let's close him up. This boy is very lucky. If he'd waited any longer for surgery, he may not have pulled through. Well, let's close him up.
Rich or poor, we're all the same under the knife. I never thought such a simple operation could put me on edge like this.
I think we've all learned something from this operation.
so much, Doctor. You saved my son's life. But I thought that this hospital didn't treat normal patients.
Well, it was an emergency, so this was a special case. Thankfully, an anonymous donor paid for your treatment fees.
I can't believe how fortunate we are. That donor must be an angel.
Yes, well, please see to getting your son health insurance so he can get the medical help he needs.
Okay, I will. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Take care now.
You're very good with children, Dr. Blaylock.
Thanks. I did some volunteer work at an orphanage. How about you, Marcus? Who are the lucky beneficiaries of your time?
I didn't do any volunteer work.
Really? I thought that was a requirement for all doctors. He's so self-centered. Drives me crazy. I haven't heard from him in I don't know how long, and now he's telling me to come to Philadelphia? He's got some nerve. It's like he thinks we're still dating.
That's just his personality. It can't be helped. Besides, you already said yes, right? You're not on call, so why not? Think of it as a little vacation. A chance to reminisce about your college days.
How stupid of me. When I heard that he'd found a new type of parasite, I agreed to go without thinking. That reminds me. How are things between you and Ray?
It ended when he went back home.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Oh, it's all right. If you're so worried about this trip, then why don't you bring Dr. Vaughn along? He has some time off too, doesn't he?
I don't know if that would be such a good idea. I'm sure he wants to get some rest.
I think he'd be interested in going. It sounds like a fascinating discovery.
You think so?
Thanks, but I'll pass. Philadelphia's too far. It'd be a waste of my vacation. Besides, Robert finished his report on stigma, and I'd like to review it.
Oh, come on, don't be that way. This information will be useful for you.
If it was that important, Caduceus would be all over it. A parasite isn't going to help us understand stigma any better. I have no interest in a new variety of hookworm.
You're going to drive all the way to Philadelphia?
That's the plan.
That sounds like fun. I haven't been on a road trip in a long time.
Really? Then would you like to come along?
Are you sure it's okay?
Of course. The more the merrier. I'll tell Denny it's a field trip for Caduceus' Special Disease Counteraction Team.
Hey, I didn't say I was going.
What are you talking about? This is a team effort. I won't take no for an answer. We're all going to Philadelphia this weekend. That was an interesting operation, wasn't it?
I suppose. It would have been a lot more interesting, though, if the operation hadn't been performed on a dog.
Oh, don't be so cranky, Marcus. How was I supposed to know that Denny decided to become a veterinarian? He tried to be a nice host, right? Even if he didn't exactly succeed.
Look at that guy. He's driving like a maniac. I hope he gets pulled over.
Well, I thought it was worth the trip.
Really? Me too. I'm sure what we learned will come in handy someday.
Yeah, like if we ever have to save a celebrity's pampered pooch. I never should have let you talk me into this.
All right, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking straight. I mean, how would you feel if your college ex called you out of nowhere?
I totally understand. Just ignore him, Dr. Blaylock. Hey, what's with that police car?
There's been an accident. Stop the...
Today's just not my day. It's worse than I thought. Someone was thrown from the car.
It seems he was the only one inside.
He's breathing, but he's unconscious. The wounds on his chest are pretty bad. He's not looking so great.
I brought a set of instruments. Let's get ready.
We're going to operate here?
We'll just perform first aid. He may be suffering from damage to his internal...
Well, this has turned out to be one hell of a road trip. This is an emergency. We have to stabilize him.
He appears to have sustained serious blunt trauma to the chest.
We need to treat these external wounds first.
We've treated his external wounds, but his vitals aren't stabilizing. There's probably some internal bleeding. Please open him up.
This doesn't look good.
Please, use the antibiotic gel before the hemorrhaging worsens. That was the worst one. Let's treat the other wounds now.
His vitals still aren't stabilizing. We must have missed something. We'll have to use the magnification tool.
We've treated all the wounds, but his vitals still haven't stabilized.
The patient's vitals.
Doctor, something's wrong. Keep looking. The hemorrhaging's formed a pool of blood. Doctor, the shadow has disappeared. It appears that blood has collected in the thoracic cavity. Please hurry. Now suture the incision. Before there may be other pockets of blood. Keep searching. Once you've drained the blood, quickly use the forceps to close the laceration. Another blood pool is formed. Please drain it. Once you've drained the blood, quickly use the forceps to close the laceration. Doctor, this is too much for us to handle.
It's worse than I... This is an emergency.
He appears to...
We need to treat these external wounds first. The patient's vitals.
We've treated... There's probably some internal bleeding. Please open him up.
This doesn't look good.
Please, use the antibiotic gel before the hemorrhaging worsens.
His vitals still... We'll have to use the magnification tool.
The hemorrhaging's formed a pool of blood. The laceration has opened again. Once we've treated all... Once you've drained the blood, quickly use the forceps to close the laceration. Doctor, something's wrong. Keep looking. Doctor, the shadow is just... It appears that blood has collected. Now suture the incision. Before it hemorrhages again, there may be other pockets of blood. Keep searching.
The patient's vitals. Finally, his vitals are stabilizing. He should be all right now.
Okay, let's close him up. If we hadn't decided to operate, he never would have made it. Well done, you guys.
I'm done transferring him.
Well, we at least accomplished something worthwhile on this trip.
Yeah, he's one lucky guy. How many officers can say they've received roadside surgery?
You wanted to see us?
Yes. I have a favor to ask of you two. Please, have a seat.
I don't like where this is headed.
Would you mind watching this video?
In these times of skyrocketing medical costs, there remains a ray of hope for those in need. Only one doctor provides life-saving surgery. This is Wish Come True. We're back again tonight to continue our surprising medical documentary. Welcome to Wish Come True Miracle Surgery. I'm your host, Guy Davidson. Tonight, we have a heart-wrenching story for now. Let's bring in our hospital's director, Dr. Leonardo Bello.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. My question for you tonight is...
Thanks for being with us, Leo. Let me compliment you on your work last week. It was inspirational.
Thanks, Guy. But it's the patient who's the true hero. I'm pleased to report that Mr. Ellis is well on the road to recovery.
I've heard of this show. It's on primetime TV, right?
Yes. They agree to cover all the medical bills, and in return, they broadcast the entire procedure. Ethically, I have some concerns about the show, but I hear it's rather popular.
Seems like a complete farce to me. So what does this have to do with us?
Keep watching. You'll see.
By the way, Leo, you seemed a bit angry when you arrived at the studio today.
Actually, I was. As our viewers know, this program has brought to light many serious issues with our healthcare system. But I recently learned something even more. $300 million of our country's annual budget. Personally, that disgusts me. What's wrong with our medical administration? Where's the money going? I haven't heard any reports that would justify such an outrageous budget. Research only gets us so far. What about the thousands of patients who aren't receiving medical care?
The future of this country's healthcare looks gloomy indeed.
I suspect the members of that organization are growing rich while the taxpayers are footing the bill. I doubt they're courageous enough to operate under the scrutiny of the public eye.
You said it, Leo. Please stay tuned. We'll introduce today's patient following the commercial break. Say goodbye to your medical worries and hello to miracle surgery.
What was that all about? They don't have the slightest clue what we do here.
They've publicly tarnished our reputation. Obviously, their claims are completely unfounded.
Let them say what they want. They'll eat their words eventually.
I agree, but the higher-ups are outraged about it. We received orders from the Secretary of Health and Welfare to crush them.
Crush them?
Yes. They want someone to make an appearance on the show.
That's why you wanted to see us?
So you actually agreed to?
We had no choice. Besides, someone has to do it. We can't just pretend like it never happened.
I can't believe that you two will be appearing on Miracle Surgery.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it. One of the conditions is that if we win, they take the show off the air.
That's a pity. With your skills, I highly doubt you'll lose.
I'm a little more skeptical.
My, isn't that a little cold, Dr. Suji?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'll be rooting for you both. But with Leonardo Bello as your opponent, it won't be an easy victory.
You know him?
Yes, he was well known at the medical school I attended. It may seem like he's all talk, but he's a skilled doctor.
In these times of skyrocketing medical costs, there remains a ray of hope for those in need. Only one doctor provides life-saving surgery free of charge. This is Wish Come True. Good evening, folks. I'm your host, Guy Davidson. I'm sure you've all seen the previews for tonight's show. So, let me introduce our surprise guests. From Caduceus, one of our country's best-funded medical institutions. Please welcome Dr. Vaughn and Dr. Blaylock.
Good evening. It's nice to be here.
Hey.
Let's start off with a simple question. What made you decide to appear on this show?
Unfortunately, there have been a number of rumors perpetuated by this program. So we're here to clear things up. Caduceus conducts useful research and provides unparalleled treatment. In fact, our research is the future of medicine.
Why? You seem a bit defensive. What do you have to say in response, Dr. Bello?
It's not the future I'm concerned with, it's the present. And if my criticism will force you to improve, then it will have served its purpose. Now, let the lesson begin.
That's our Leo, a straight shooter. Well then, let's introduce this evening's patient. Enrique Alvarez is suffering from a very troublesome tumor. And unfortunately, he also has complications with his heart and lungs. This has made operating on him difficult. And that is why he has come seeking help on... Mr. Alvarez, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'm incredibly grateful that this show has given me a chance to get some treatment. There were times when I got really down, but now I have hope. It's just that...
It's just...
I'm a fan of Dr. Bellows, so I was hoping he was going to operate on me.
I'm sorry to hear that, Enrique. But there's no need to worry. If anything even slightly out of the ordinary happens, I'll take over. So please, let them proceed with the operation.
Really? Great. That makes me feel a lot better.
Don't worry, Mr. Alvarez. You're in good hands.
This isn't exactly the place for it, but let's begin the briefing. Like the host said, the objective of this operation will be to extract tumors from the stomach. The patient also has arrhythmia, so we'll need to be careful.
Got it. We'll perform this operation flawlessly.
It's finally begun! The miraculous, life-changing operation is upon us! Will they save the patient? Will they prove their skill and determination?
Will that guy ever shut up? Just ignore the glitz and stay calm. Let's prove ourselves out there.
The abilities of Caduceus's best and brightest will soon be laid bare for all to see. Are they skilled surgeons or just government-funded slackers? We're...
Is he gonna shut up and let us operate?
Let's handle this like we always do, Val. Just concentrate on the patient.
He's right. Please begin the operation.
Here we go! Are you ready for some surgery?
According to the preliminary examinations, it should be around here. Please begin.
Hey, I think we've spotted something. Oh, let's get a close-up of this. Ah, they're about to extract it. They're going to cut. The tumor is being carried out on a stainless steel tray.
Stabilizing.
There must be another tumor. Let's take a look with the magnification tool.
Hey now,
What? Where's all this blood coming from?
It's coming from
What's this? Looks like they found something. They've discovered more tumors. Caduceus's true skill is shining through.
The hemorrhaging isn't stopped.
That takes care of one tumor.
They misplaced a membrane. What's going on, Caduceus?
Are these tumors multiplying somewhere?
We need to re-examine the areas we've already treated.
The hemorrhaging's severe. Hand me the drain, please.
What? You must be kidding me. The drain's not working.
Is it broken? Hurry and get a replacement. We'll manage for the time being.
Oh, no. An equipment malfunction? Get it together, Caduceus.
Here's a new drain.
The bleeding won't stop until we...
Huh? The EKG is showing an irregularity. His heart's fibrillating. Stop operating.
The patient's
Flatline.
vitals.
The patient's undergoing cardiac arrest. I'll get the defibrillator ready.
It'll be faster if we do it by hand.
We have a pulse.
Talk about heart pounding, but this surgery isn't over yet.
I'd love to suture that fool's mouth shut.
That blood is interfering with the operation. They'll have to drain it before they can proceed.
There's not much time.
The tumors come back for more. They'll have to drain it again.
We have to hurry.
There's no sign of any other tumors.
Let's close them up and get this circus over with.
There were some stumbles along the way, but it looks like our guests have safely finished the operation.
Just close him up and we'll be done.
How well did the surgeons from Caduceus perform, everyone? I'm anxious to hear Dr. Bellows' thoughts. We'll hear from him after the break. Well, Dr. Bello, how did they do?
First, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Alvarez on a successful operation. But as I suspected, I should have been the one to perform the procedure.
What do you mean by that?
I would have been able to complete the operation in 3/4 the time. If this is the best they can do, then I'm rather disappointed.
What?
Guy, why don't we settle this once and for all? Let's invite 2 patients with the same condition onto the show and do their surgeries simultaneously. Then the difference in skill will be obvious.
Leo, that's a fantastic idea.
Of course, it depends on whether or not our guest surgeons are up for the challenge.
Of course we are. We accept. We'll show you who's more talented.
You completely fell for their trap, Val.
It's been a mess here because of your rash response, Valerie.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me.
Aren't you being a little unfair? She didn't want to go on TV in the first place. It's not her fault this happened.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Now wait a minute. The situation is not as bad as it may seem. If they can win the competition, then we won't have anything to worry about. I have faith in them.
Why are we treating surgery like a competitive sport?
I'm sorry, Marcus, Valerie. I should have objected to this more strongly. I feel responsible for the entire situation. But now that it's come to this, I have to ask you to appear on the show one more time. I promise you, that will be the end of it.
We'll be all right. We'll finish this once and for all.
Take these artificial veins with you. The endothelialized cells are perfect for the operation. Ordinarily, they'd take a month to produce, but our technology lets us make them in 10 days. They're made of special material which is easy to suture with and prevents the formation of thrombi. We only recently gained approval to use them.
I understand, Robert. Thanks.
Our patient is suffering from an aneurysm, but still, having these will be reassuring.
I'm sorry, Valerie, but this is a good opportunity to sway public opinion in our favor.
Maybe so, but I'd rather be researching stigma.
I'll be presenting a report on that in the near future, incident.
Well then, Valerie, Marcus, good luck to you two.
The time has finally come. A moment of truth. For the first time on national television, not just one, but 2 operations will be broadcast live. Our very own Dr. Leonardo Bello will be competing against Team Caduceus. As we near the start of the competition, what's going through your head, Leo?
A beautiful operation is performed quickly, as I intend to demonstrate. I assure you, our viewers are in for quite a surprise.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this. Now, let's check in with Team Caduceus. I must say, you look really determined today.
Our only concern is the welfare of the patient. Nothing more, nothing less.
We're calm and focused. We're concentrating on the procedure, not worrying about the competition.
It seems Team Caduceus has their eye on the ball. Anyway, I hope they'll perform an amazing operation for us. Each of today's patients suffers from aneurysms in their large intestine. This is an unprecedented opportunity to see America's best doctors. Even though our patients are in good hands, we do have an emergency team on standby. However, I doubt they'll be needed. Well, the time has come. Teams, please prep for surgery!
Well, let's begin the conference. This will be an operation on an aneurysm, so the basic treatment will be to excise the bulge. But according to the diagnosis, there seems to be another aneurysm lurking there too. Let's use this opportunity to implant the synthetic vein while dealing with the aneurysms.
Got it. Are you okay, Val?
Yes, I'm fine. Concentrate, stay calm.
This amazing, unprecedented surgical showdown begins now. Who will reign supreme? You can't let your eyes miss even the slightest moment of this competition.
This guy isn't helping, is he? Well, let's do this. Lights, camera, action.
Well, here we go. Let's all do our best. I'm confirming the presence of an aneurysm. It's possible that another may form where we're not looking, so be careful. Please inject the sedative into the bulge. The sedative has taken effect. Now's our chance to... Now, please drain the blood. Use the forceps to connect the vein before it hemorrhages again. Now suture the veins together where they... Looks good. But there are indications that another aneurysm may develop. Continue with the operation, Doctor. But be careful. What? This aneurysm. It's huge. Still, the procedure to extract it will be the same as with any normal aneurysm. First, inject the sedative. The sedative won't last long since it's so big. The aneurysm has been Please take... The blood has been drained. Next, we'll reconnect the blood vessel using the synthetic vein. Place the synthetic vein between the ends of the real vein. Twist your hand to find the right angle. Doctor, the synthetic vein needs to go between the ends of the real vein. The angle isn't right. More blood is obscuring the operation. Please drain it. Now, suture the veins to the synthetic vein. Now suture the other end the same way. The synthetic vein has been sutured into place. Treatment of the large aneurysm is now complete.
Whoa! Did you see that? That was amazing, Dr. Bello!
There's a lot of cheering going on from that side. What's happening over there?
Must be that surprise he mentioned. Just ignore it.
Stay focused.
There seems to be an aneurysm outside of our view. Use the magnification tool and treat it. The sedative is worn off. Please give the patient another injection. An aneurysm has burst outside of our view. Use the an aneurysm burst. Drain the blood and treat it. Doctor, another aneurysm is forming. Please, hurry up and treat it.
The patient's vitals. Vitals are stable. I think we're finished. Please close up the patient. We're done with the operation. Great work, team.
Well, congratulations on a successful procedure. That was fantastic work.
Thank you. I'm glad it went smoothly.
I too am relieved that you were able to complete the operation. But you had me worried there for a while, since it was taking so long.
Dr. Bello, you're already finished?
That can't be.
We completed our operation so fast.
Let's take a moment to review some highlights from Dr. Bellow's operation.
He has the healing touch.
Incredible.
That's my trademark. I have the ability to block out all distractions. I wanted to serve a piece of humble pie to all those arrogant doctors out there.
Very impressive. Now, the judging is underway backstage. Who will emerge victorious from this historic...
We're leaving, Valerie.
But...
We're in hostile territory. There's no reason for us to stick around, no matter what the results are. Let's not give them another opportunity to criticize us.
You're right, Marcus. Let's go.
The results are in. The doctor, selected as America's finest, is Dr. Leonardo Bello!
Elena, you forgot to sterilize operating room 3.
Oh, sorry. I'll do it right away.
Jeez, what's gotten into you? I know you're upset about losing the competition, but you have to get over it. You're bringing everyone down. Where are the doctors?
The director asked to see them.
Yikes, that doesn't sound good.
In these times of skyrocketing medical costs, there remains a ray of hope for those in need. Only one doctor provides life-saving surgery free. This is Wish Come True Miracle Surgery.
How can you stand to watch that?
I'm not watching it because I want to.
Is it your penance for the fiasco?
The Secretary of Health and Welfare is furious, but that's to be expected. However, no one is blaming you two since you performed a flawless operation. I called you here for another reason. Take a look at this.
A letter?
How old-fashioned. Dear Caduceus staff, congratulations on your recent appearance on Miracle Surgery. Seeing you perform that operation on national television really inspired me. That's why I believe it's now my turn to make an appearance. Is this guy a doctor trying to promote himself? Or is this another challenge?
Keep reading. I'm afraid it's more serious than that.
What you encountered at Concordia was care, the hand. And in Maryland you received soma, the body. But now I shall reveal ops, the eye, for the entire country to witness. I assure you it will be something to behold. The miracle of modern times, stigma. He knows about stigma?
It appears so. That's why I couldn't just ignore this.
Is he the one who created it? Is he the one who kidnapped Professor Wilkins?
We've contacted the producers of Miracle Surgery, but they're not taking the threat seriously.
Now, the affected area is about to be exposed.
Wait, this isn't an ulcer? What is this? I just need to use my healing touch. No! I can't keep up with it!
It's a new type of stigma. Bello can't handle this. Even with his skills, he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Let's go, Marcus. Ma'am, please contact the studio and order them to suspend the op. Elena's coming with us.
What is this focus? My healing touch. Healing touch.
Leo? Leo, are you all right?
I can't anymore.
Leo! Leo! Pull yourself together. You have to finish the operation.
Step aside. We'll complete the operation.
He pushed himself too hard. I guess he doesn't know his own limit. Make sure you take good care of him.
patient's already been opened up, but her vitals are stable.
Whoever wrote that letter called this stigma ops, which means eye or something, right?
I do see something that looks like an eye, but I have no idea what its function is.
Did you notice anything while Dr. Bello was operating?
There was some sort of reaction at the core, but it seemed like it needed energy. I haven't seen anything like it before.
So the key to this operation is to not activate the core.
Team Caduceus has suddenly burst into the operating room here at Miracle Surgery. Will they save face from their defeat the other day? Will they get their revenge on Dr. Bello? There's only one thing we can do. We have to pray that they can perform a miracle.
Revenge has nothing to do with this. We're here because there's a patient in need.
That's right. This is what Caduceus does.
Now, let's save a life.
Team Caduceus is about to take over the operation that struck down even our own Dr. Leonardo Bello.
That stupid announcer lost his cool for a minute, but it looks like he's back to his annoying self.
This is a new strain of stigma. Please, be careful. So this is ops.
The tissue covers a wide area, but we should focus on removing the central core.
We should be able to burn it with the laser. Let's begin.
It discharged something. We'd better drain it in case it's harmful. There are no problems with the drain this time. Keep it up.
The patient's...
We have an analysis report from the lab. The material being discharged from the ends are nutrients. If these nutrients reach the core, it will activate and cause severe damage to the nervous system. We have to eliminate the discharges before they reach ops. It's releasing something larger. Burn it with a laser. The discharge has been incinerated. Continue the treatment.
Everyone watching at home, I am... Oh, no! A mystery tumor has a...
Tumors are forming on the ops tissue. Burn them with a laser.
Look out, Caduceus! The eyes split up!
The core's it's wreaking havoc on the patient's vitals. Concentrate on treating the tumors first.
What in the world just happened? The patient's vitals have dropped significantly.
The core's activation caused the tumor to burst. It's wreaking havoc on the patient's vitals. Concentrate on treating the tumors first.
The pathogen's attacks are fierce. What will... Come on, Team Caduceus. Show us a miracle!
The core has been incinerated. Now, for the next one.
Not even Dr. Bello!
The second core.
Oh! Awesome! Marvelous! Fat Team Caduceus has successfully driven out the unknown pathogen.
It's over.
Well, we must have put on one hell of a show.
I'm glad we were able to save this person.
Please put your hands together for the heroes who saved another precious life on Miracle Surgery. It's a miracle, folks! We've just witnessed a true miracle! 2 new stars have been born right before our very...
Give me that mic. Ladies and gentlemen, what you saw today is a new intractable disease known as stigma. It's a serious disease that's still a mystery to us. But Caduceus has been researching potential countermeasures. And because of that, we were able to save this patient's life. That's part of our mission at Caduceus. I think it's important for the public to understand what our organization is all about. I believe that those of us in the medical field have two major responsibilities. One is to help patients with existing conditions. The other is to arm ourselves against new diseases that may arise. So in other words, Caduceus is fighting for all of our futures.
Valerie, why don't you start wrapping it up?
Every doctor is a part of this fight, so please, consult your local physician if you experience any unusual symptoms. And if necessary, feel free to contact us as well. That's all I have to say. We at Caduceus hope to continue serving you. Oh, and by the way, this will be the last episode of Miracle Surgery.
Je vais arrêter le live. Allez, bonne nuit à tous et à demain.